Hello, today we are going to look at the game of the Magician of Riga, Tal, in a game he played in 1982 against John van der Wiel. Tal has the white pieces here, and I will post the PGN in the description. I'm going through the opening moves rather quickly, as you can see, so it will become interesting reasonably soon. So here we have a position that is arguably perhaps equal. Tal chooses to push f4. He also always likes to attack and to complicate, so it will be promising. We go with knight c6, and after f5, black goes with g6. And here we get the first very interesting move of the game, in my opinion. It's not instantly a sacrifice of the queen. It wouldn't really be possible in this position, but we get the move bishop to g5. Now, as you can see, this bishop slices straight in the black position. Very good move. Also, it looks like to be a very good move, but why is it so good? Well, black cannot get rid of the bishop that easily either. Let's say we just want to trade bishops with bishop e7. Forget for a moment here that we have a bit of an opening on the king side, because we can still castle queen side, might be your thought, right? Well, if now in this position white just takes the bishop, then black has two ways of recapturing. One of them would be with knight. Let's explore that one first. Well, white now has to move knight to b5 with a very annoying family fork, which will also attack the bishop on b7 for a second time. So let's say black wants to prevent this nasty event from happening, then the only option that seems to be an option really would be use the knight to capture on f5. But then after bishop takes b7, queen takes b7, rooks take f5, white is a piece up as the rook cannot be taken because the nasty fork is still there. So that is if you take back with knight, there's nothing you can do against this horrible threat. So what if he would take back with the king? Well, the answer is a bit more complex, but let's look at some lines. Let's say queen c1, then after g takes, we have queen to g5 check, king f8, and now the very nice move, bishop takes f5. And we have a very, very strong attack against the black position. Please note that black cannot choose to now take the bishop, because after he takes f5, we get check, and well, if king g8, we have knight to d5. As you can see, that is devastating with the king in the corner. So let's move our king to e8, and then we have, of course, rook a to e1 check, and black will be mated on the other side of the board. Queen f6 check, check with knight b5, and after king b8, if queen d6 check, and knight has control over c7, so it is game over. So that is why we cannot play bishop to e7 in this position. So van der Wiel continued with g takes f5. Now this move is also very, very nice to see. Of course, bishop takes. So it's a bit of a problem. Clearly we cannot take. The best move would actually be queen to e2 check, but you can also see, and I would have this as a player myself, if the white rook takes, then honestly the engine prefers black here, but the threats, I colored it a bit on the board, as you can see, are just horrendous and enough to scare any player. Open file towards the king, rook attacks the position, the queen come in on h5, the knight will jump to d5. It's absolutely horrible. And as mentioned, the proper move, not sure if Tal would make that, but the proper move after takes would actually be queen to e2 check. It's a direct attack on the king. So we go back. Van der Wiel chose to not go for that line and moves bishop e7. And here again we have Tal, queen to h5. All the pieces need to attack, right? Bishop takes, queen takes. Now a very serious threat is knight to d5 with control over two very important squares. Knight to e7 to try to tame the knight. And now we have bishop to e4, which is a very devastating move as well. Perhaps a better option would have been knight to g6, where the one of the two would have happened, either a sacrifice of the rook or bishop takes g6 following this line would have been very interesting perhaps. But what happened in the game was the trade of bishops. Yeah, and now after knight takes, it's a very, very nice line. Black is really hoping to if he could, to castle away and activate its rook on the g file. Clearly we cannot even castle now, not even if it would be the move of black, because we would lose our knight because it needs protection of the king. But this is what the dreams of black look like: a future where the king is safely tucked away, the knight is defended or on e7 or somewhere else, and the rook is activated on g file. Unfortunately for black, he was playing against Tal, and boom, rook takes f7. It's just insane how this player plays. I'm not sure if you should try to mimic Tal. If I try to do that, I guarantee you I will lose, I will fail. I won't find the combinations that the tactical genius saw, but he did. Rook takes f7 is just totally winning. King takes, that's what happened in the game. And after queen f6 check, well, if king e8, then we have, of course, this line, which is devastating and totally losing. That's not what Van der Wiel played. He went for king g8. He might also have resigned already. Rook, queen takes e7, rook to f8, and just rook f1, threatening queen takes. Rook takes f1 check, and after king f1, black had seen enough and resigned. There's nothing really that you can do against the threat of queen and knight here. And I would say a brilliant display of Tal, of sacrifices, of activity, and of being Tal. I think that's the best way I can say it. I hope you enjoyed this this demonstration of Tal. Let me know if you want to see more Tal videos, or if you would like to see other videos. Put it in the comments and I will follow up. Have a nice day and thank you for watching. Bye bye.